Welcome to Innovation in Education. I'm Dr. Tony Rayos Sutherland. Unfortunately, or fortunately for him, Igor Luchik, our regular student co-host, will not be with us today because he is graduating from Houston Community College. So we want to congratulate him on his accomplishments and wish him well in his future endeavors and career. As we mentioned before, HCC's Innovation in Education team is focused on how innovation in higher education can help our communities and our world at large. We want to explore what works and what doesn't, so that future generations can benefit from our research and delve deeper into the subjects. So let's take a look at the world we live in, our planet, for instance. April is the designated month to celebrate Earth Day, but we seem to all agree that we need to care for our Earth every day in order to make a difference. Let's look at how community colleges are working toward a more sustainable Earth. The American Association of Community Colleges is a national organization that leads, advocates for, and helps to advance the nation's community colleges. In one of its reports, it stated that community colleges play a vital role in building a sustainable future and green workforce. To quote them further, community colleges are at the forefront of the growing momentum for action on climate change, sustainability, and green workforce development. By integrating sustainability principles into curricula and educating and preparing workers for new, reoriented, or emerging jobs in the clean energy economy. The AASHE, which stands for the Association for the Advancement of Sustainability in Higher Education, sums it up this way.
Many people see higher education as just one small sector of society. But actually, higher education's impact is enormous.
There's such powerful resonance to improve quality of life, to improve overall well-being. I mean, that is the core mission, purpose of higher ed.
Our students are engaged in real-world problem solving, and they build a self-concept that they know how to and are willing to help create solutions to these urgent societal challenges.
What ASHE is really about is trying to ensure that higher education is leading the sustainability movement. It's a convergence of people around a shared purpose to position higher ed to be all that it can be to solve society's critical crisis.
If it takes a village to be sustainable, ASHE is really at the center of that village, providing information, providing collaboration opportunities, networking opportunities.
We'll be right back with what Houston Community College is doing to go green. So stay with us.
Sometimes what you need just shows up. Houston Community College has your back, whether you're knocking out some basics or upping your game for a better job. Enroll today for spring classes and frame your future with HCC.
Welcome back to Innovation in Education. I'm Dr. Tony Rayos Sutherland. We started the show today remembering Earth Day, which happens in April of each year. And in honor of that, we have with us Romello Bose from HCC Central Campus Library to talk to us about our Earth Day event and how college libraries are helping us focus on sustaining our planet. Welcome to the show, Romello.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Tony.
It's wonderful. Now, I went to the event and I thought it was outstanding. Tell us a little bit about Earth Day. When did it start? How? Why? What's it all about?
Um, so we all know that April 22nd is the Earth Day, and this is our second year planning for this programming, but this is like, the first time we kind of like have it in a big way. So in the libraries, the libraries, they often provide resources and materials related to environmental education, sustainability, and conservation. And we have books, articles, documentaries, videos, and other educational materials to raise awareness about the environmental issues. And in the library, my current supervisor, Erica Hubbard, and two other like librarians, they are plant mamas. So they always wanted to raise awareness, and including me, we always wanted to talk about like how it's going to help us, how we can make people aware of the importance of like environmental issues, Earth Day, and all that. So we wanted to do something about it. We wanted to do a programming. So that's how it got started. And then we decided, why not do it on the Earth Day? And then we kind of like partnered with the Vast Academy. He always does a poster competition every year with their students, and their theme is around Earth Day. And every year their theme kind of like changes. This year it was global warming. So that's how it all started. And then we invited students, guest speakers, and we were fortunate to have Stephanie Gray as our speaker, who talked about container gardening.
That's wonderful. Now, how does the library, what are some other things that you do in the library that help students focus on sustainability?
Of course, like, we actually, as I mentioned, we do have resources, be it books, be it articles, be it documentaries, and like videos, streaming videos, databases that are talking about like sustainability, like Earth Day, planting, gardening, conservation, and various environmental issues. Because, libraries are an important part of the organization, the institution where we provide workshops, webinars, and various events around Earth Day and sustainability.
Like the one we had,
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, let me show everybody a little bit of what was going on that day.
We're here to have a program so that students can engage in Earth Day activities and understand the importance of climate change. We are going to be giving away seeds and cuttings and sharing with students the ease of growing things.
Every year around Earth Day, we talk about saving the planet and how important it is that we are conscious and that we think green. And so our students make posters after they do their own research too, and they look up different things that they want to look at, staying green and taking care of our planet.
Thank you so much, Ramela, for being on the show with us and enlightening us about Earth Day and the importance of celebrating it. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back with our faculty who have worked with students in their classes and incorporated sustainability in their curriculums. And you'll want to see this. It's pretty interesting.
The faculty at HCC represents the best of Houston. Whether your goal is a 4-year college, a better job, or a whole new career,
come learn with us.
HCC, for everyone, anytime, anyway.
Welcome back to Innovation in Education. I'm Dr. Toni Rayo Sutherland. In this segment, we will talk with Karen Yip from HCC's Geology and Earth Science programs, and one of our English professors, Dr. Kathy Clay, and one of her students about sustainability. Let's begin with Karen Yip. Welcome to the show, Karen.
Thank you for having me.
Well, now the topic of sustainability for our Earth is a very big topic among our students today. How can taking environmental science lecture and lab courses help them learn more about sustainability and even pollution mitigation?
So the HCC's geology program has had the lecture version of environmental science for a number of years. It's our largest enrolled course, the most number of sections and students every semester. And we're very excited that this spring we've had the first run of an environmental science lab course, which is new to our curriculum, for students across the disciplines, no matter what their major is or their actual career or academic goal. The environmental science lecture class counts as a science core curriculum. So we hope that students can take that to partially fulfill their science requirements. That course is very multidisciplinary. So it really does kind of engage with students from economics to history, to sociology, and it's even required for culinary arts students who need to think about sustainability and food sources and things like how to take care of the soil. So it's really a great applicable course to many students, and they now have the opportunity to take a lab to really pursue that. It's transferable to degrees for their future academic plan.
Well, that sounds like fun, especially the lab part. What do you guys do in that?
The lab portion will involve learning how to take environmental samples, whether that be for air pollution studies or water pollution or soil. Knowing what's in the soil is very important. Those techniques of not only collecting the samples and analyzing them, those thought processes will be helpful for any kind of future kind of application of those processes in other jobs and careers.
So you have geology programs, and these talk about climate change in the curriculum, right?
Yes, our other geology classes, including oceanography and earth science and physical geology, all touch on in different ways sustainability. In oceanography, we look at ocean pollution and climate. In meteorology, climate change comes in. When we're even in physical geology, thinking about mineral resources and the limitations of the supply of those resources and what they are used for.
Well, one last question, food insecurities. We're going to talk about that in the next show, but I know that that's close to your heart, environmental justice, I think it's called. Tell us a little bit about that, just a little bit.
So environmental justice is thinking about how environmental hazards or harms are impacting different communities more than others. Often those are communities that just have less kind of political voice or socioeconomic voice that are impacted more for things like flooding or air pollution or access to being able to get away from those hazards. Those topics are covered in environmental science, and we have a number of other programs where we've touched on that kind of for the whole campus community.
Well, that's wonderful. And everybody needs to remember to sign up for these classes because they sound very, very interesting. Thank you, Karen, for being with us on the show and helping us understand more about sustainability. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And speaking of sustainability in the classroom, HCC TV went to HCC's West Houston Institute and talked with Dr. Kathy Clay and one of her English students. They had a lot to say about incorporating sustainability into lessons into English literature. Let's check it out.
My Composition 1302 class is primarily a literary argument class. And I came upon the idea of incorporating gardening because so many literary texts feature nature as either an overt theme or more subtle theme. And because I want my students to be able to make clear arguments about the literary devices and overall the context of literature, and I'm an avid gardener, I learned so many lessons through gardening. I was like, maybe I can incorporate this into my classes some sort of way. 2 years ago, there was a literary conference and a textbook presenter asked about ideas that the professors were thinking about. I casually shared how I wanted to incorporate a garden into my courses and have the students do some hand-on gardening and then be able to better connect those literary lessons with nature. It is a way for us to bond. The students are more engaged. Obviously, that was very important to me post-pandemic. Students had been away from the classroom. I wanted really on a personal level to sort of really ignite that dynamic of human interaction more. And this project of incorporating gardening into the classes, into the lessons, the students are better able to connect with the literature, each other, and they take away something more from the course than just another course. Nature is everywhere. Even in urban spaces, we have green spaces, and how vital it is to not only connect with nature just in the physical, but also the emotional and psychological benefits of it. Not to mention that we have to preserve this place we call home if we're going to exist in a healthy way. You can look at something like A Streetcar Named Desire, where the flowers sort of symbolize death for Blanche, or the red convertible, where you have two brothers, but whereas they're naturally related, grow up in the same habitat, one of them goes off to war. So we have the circumstances arresting his nature. Students pick up on things like that, how they can plant two of the same plants, one thrives, the other one dies. Some plants are perennials, meaning they can survive any type of weather, just like people. They seem to be very resilient and survive anything. And then other people, the least little stumbling block tends to do away with them, like some plants. Students also recognize that as humans, we are stewards of pretty much the entire planet. So whatever our behaviors are, there's going to be a domino effect in nature. They see that in the literature, how for every action, there's going to be a reaction, or for every catalyst, there's going to be some sort of aftermath. It's a challenge every semester because obviously we have to be able to synchronize with the maker space. This semester I'm teaching hybrid classes, so we only meet once a week. These are challenges that we learn to work around, but what I like about the students is that they are highly adaptable, like nature.
About English 2 with Miss Clay, it's more of a more advanced version of English 1, like analytical type of writing instead of like summarized type of writing. So it's a little bit more difficult, but after you get the hang of it, it can be kind of easy. The way she teaches is more of you have to be more independent with it, in the sense that you have to keep up with the readings, and she's gonna expect you to discuss the reading with her, because I feel like it is kind of boring to just kind of sit down and have somebody explain it to you full out, and I feel like it is more engaging and entertaining to have a conversation about said stories. Many forms of literature have different types of nature that go into them. So whether that be the nature of humans, the nature of the actual, the outside, or the nature of technology and stuff like that. So nature is everywhere in sort of stories. The way that it helps me learn literature is to see things for more than they really just are at the base level. Because with gardening, you have to see things for more than they are. You can't just look at a plant and go, oh, it's all right. You have to check the water. You got to make sure that it's getting enough sunlight. You got to make sure that it's not getting too much sunlight. So you got to really pay attention and understand it.
This is the Inspired Garden, and some of the things that we plant are going to be herbs. Number one, herbs keep away pests that destroy other plants. So we like native plants because we're a bird-friendly space, and we consider this more of a safe passage. So we like pollinators, such as butterflies, bees, and of course, hosting our lovely birds. Salvia is a native plant to Texas, so we tend to plant a lot of natives. Number one, they're perennials. Many of them come back every year. We do blend in a few annuals, but mostly native plants that are going to come back up. It's more cost effective and it's better for the environment. So here, these were planted last spring, I believe, and so it's just already come up. It's this lovely purple and it's thriving. We may have some fern here. We also have some milkweed, another native plant that's a host plant. And I even see some activity here with some lovely moths and other insects, which is what we want. Over here, this is mondo grass. Again, something that's perennial, comes back every year. It's very pretty to look at, and it's thriving. And then my personal favorite, other than salvia, is this lovely cone flower. Now, when Evan's class comes, they're just going to kind of fill in these different spaces. So, in a couple of weeks when you come back, you're just going to see, hopefully, a full bed bursting with color. But as you can see, our little garden has survived winter very well because of the careful choices that we make. As an Innovations Fellow, I'm extremely grateful to HCC for allowing me to incorporate something like this into my classes. It would be great if every campus had an endeavor like a garden. It just speaks to HCC's willingness to try new things, hence that's what innovation is, and being able to share so much of the universal learning experience with our students. We can't always do the same things the same way because frankly, we can become stagnated. HCC realizes that. That's why they have the Innovations Fellows, so that we can try, see what works, what doesn't. This is a perfect project for this season. I hope that it endures for quite some time. I know things change, and I'm always ready for that. But this has been one of the most wonderful experiences I've had here at HCC. The students love it. Not to say we don't have challenges, because we do, but we work around them. Just like nature, I've said it before, we adapt.
There's one more segment to go. We'll check with Texas A&M representatives to see how Houston Community College is collaborating with them on Going Green. So stay with us.
If you love them enough to crawl into a play place to get them to come down, then surely you'll check nhtsa.gov/the right seat to make sure they're in the right car seat.
Welcome back to Innovation in Education. I'm Dr. Toni Rayl Sutherland. In our last segment for today, we are talking with Carrie Calloway and Stephanie Gray from Texas A&M University. First, let's start with Carrie. Welcome to the show, Carrie.
Hello, how are you, Dr. Toni?
I'm doing fine. Well, tell us about this program at TAMU and how and why did it get started?
Yes, so we are actually Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Service. And a little background and history behind Extension is, to sum it up, we are here to make Texans better. So it is an extension from Texas A&M that's geared towards education for the community, a lot of education programs from youth to senior citizens.
Wonderful. So now, how are you collaborating with HCC?
Yes, so we have a great partnership and collaboration with HCC. Texas A&M AgriLife Extension believes in the 3 Ps: our people, our partnerships, and our programs. And so through our partnerships, we will, as of right now, we are teaching a Green Thumb series, and that's through the library, as you mentioned earlier. And then we have a summer program that's actually coming in June, right? That's going to be a week long through our 4-H unit that's specific to youth that will be hosted at the HCC campuses, and as well as we have a partnership with HCC for our workforce development grant, and that teaches a component of landscaping, right? So we're working very closely with HCC to offer various programs.
Well, why do you think, I mean, I think we know, but why is it so important to be concerned about sustainability and that you're working with community colleges to make this happen?
Well, community colleges is the community, right? So to make this partnership happen, we had to connect, of course, to a community college such as HCC, because you guys are our target audience through Extension. So there's Texas A&M University. And as we mentioned, there's an extension that we would like to outreach to the community and provide them with various of programs that they may not necessarily be able to obtain at the university level, but through a community college level, and that can still have the same materials, the same information, same skill set by the end of their studies there at HCC, right? Yeah.
And so you work with community colleges all over Texas. Is that how it works?
Yes, we work in community colleges all over Texas. We are in every county in the state of Texas. There is an extension service that are here for you that will provide programming from nutrition to agriculture, again, to youth programs. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Oh, so wonderful. Well, Carrie, thank you so much. And we also talked with your colleague, Stephanie Gray, and she was at our Earth Day event. And we're going to go see what she has to say about that too.
We have a really great program in partnership with Houston Community College. We do the Green Thumb Gardening Series, which is a virtual talk. Some topics that we cover for gardening, it's kind of an intro to gardening series. So we do spring gardening, fall vegetable gardening. We'll do gardening in containers, which is what I'll talk about today. And then we branch out and do more urban gardening practices like aquaponics. We have an ethnic vegetables talk as well. So really just providing attendees with the resources coming out of Texas A&M. We have a lot of awesome vegetable calendar guides. We show where they can find information on specific gardening questions that they might have. If it's, how do I start a garden? How do I identify pests? What varieties to pick? In Houston and all over Harris County, it's really important to keep urban agriculture and green spaces in mind when we're just going about our communities. And we're trying to teach neighbors how to create more green spaces in the name of sustainability and really just be more aware of how to interact with their environment. Even though we're in a really urban space with so many people, so many Harris County residents, there's still a lot of opportunities to interact with nature. With Texas A&M AgriLife Extension, we're a grassroots organization. So we learn from our communities. We use our neighbors and our committees and our industry partners to determine the needs of Harris County, and then we're able to provide programming and information based on what the people want. So I think that offering programs and getting involved in local community colleges like HCC is so important because, as you said, you're already integrated in the community, you're in downtown Houston, you have a lot of visibility here. So offering these kinds of environmental programs will really reach new people.
We are so happy and thankful to work with Texas A&M. And Kathy, Carrie, we really do appreciate you being with us and all the work that you guys do.
Of course, and continue to collaborate and reach out if you ever need us for anything.
Thank you so much. Mm-hmm. Well, that's all the time we have for now. But before we go, we want to let you know about our next show. We're going to talk about food insecurities. It's a bigger problem than most of us think it is. So keep watching Innovation in Education to find out what our country and our local communities are doing in regard to innovation in education. And remember to keep looking forward and press on in whatever you're doing and make it a priority to help make this world a better place for all. That's what innovation in education is all about. See you next time.